guys, Samantha from JSMI Tutorials here, and today we're going to be making Faux Azurite, and that should be showing up on screen right now, about there. But we are going to be mixing up some colours. Now ironically we don't need to do that for the blues. I'm simply going to be using Primo Cobalt and Primo Ultramarine Blue. Those you can use the colours exactly as they are. But for this tutorial I'm going to be mixing some Malachite into the piece as the picture showed. And so you're going to need to do some colour recipes for that. So I've got 4 more colours here. This is all Primo, Primo Pale Green, Primo Wasabi, Primo Forest Green and Primo Black. These are all rolled out on the thickest setting of my pasta machine. And you're going to want to get yourself any kind of cutter. You're just going to use the same one across all of these, so any shape, size will work. Now we're going to be making a base green from which we're going to be making a lighter and darker version. So for the base you are going to want 1 wasabi, 2 forest green, and 1 pale green. And now I'm going to be using a lot of this colour recipe, so I'm going to double this up. So it'll be 2 wasabi, 4 forest green, 1 pale green. But that's the smallest amount of the recipe that you can get, so if you want more, just double it up. Then you're going to mix that up, and that will be your base, and then we're going to make our other colour recipes from it. And here is how that should look. Now you want to roll this out on the same thickness setting as all of the others. And what we're going to do for the light one, we're going to take 1 of our base green and 2 pale green. There we go. And that will be our light colour. And then for the dark colour, you're going to want 4 of your green. See if I can get that. Might need to roll that out again. Give me 1 moment. There we go. Cut out the last one. So 4 of your base green and 1 black. Okay. And those are your 2 other colour recipes. I'm going to double this one up because I don't have many or I don't have much of it. But yeah, those are the 3 colour recipes. Okay, and here are the 3 colour recipes. Okay, so now we are going to stack them, darkest to lightest, or vice versa. Doesn't really matter too much. Just stack them, and they're quite thick at the moment, but that's fine. I'm just going to trim away the extra from that. And remember to separate this because you can just reuse those colours. And that's why I'm doing it now while they're nice and thick and easy to separate. There we go. Okay, now I'm just gonna, you don't have to worry about getting it exactly right, I'm just gonna bring it in the edges so that it's all together. Okay, then I'm gonna put that through the pasta machine on my thickest setting. And that will have thinned it right down. Then I am going to stack it again, putting light on dark, like that. And actually, do I want to do that? Do I want to? Yes, I will. Okay, and I'm going to run that through again. Okay, and then we will stack it 1 last time. Again, light to dark. I'm just going to press this bit in. There we go. And that will give us lots of layers. And I'm going to run that through on the thickest setting of my pasta machine again, and then we'll be ready to move on to the blue. And there we go. Lots of layers. I'll just cut that so that you can see how many layers we have there. Put that to the side, and I'm going to bring over the ultramarine and the cobalt, These will also run out on the thickest setting of my pasta machine. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to stack them. Again, trimming around the edges while we haven't pressed them together too much so that we can use the extra colour. And then I'm going to run it through on my thickest setting and I'm going to stack it just like we did with the other one. Stack that. There we go. Run it through the thickest setting again. And that's all of the stacking that I'm going to do on that one. Just go trim away the extra. Right, now we are ready to get it so that we can put them together. This one I'm going to leave exactly how it is. I'm just going to make sure that it is the light side up, and I'm going to trim away the little scraggly bits so that it's pretty much just the white that we see, and that will be ready for us. This one I'm going to take and I'm going to run it out on the second thinnest setting of my pasta machine. Okay, and your second thinnest setting might not be the same as mine, so the general rule of thumb is to make the blue, once you've got them both stacked like I did before, they should both be as thick as each other because we were using the thickest setting of our pasta machine, whatever thickness that may be. Once you are ready to actually stack them together, the blue needs to be as half as thick as the green. That's the general rule of thumb, whatever setting that may be on your pasta machine. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to stack that, the dark blue side, up onto the light green. Okay, and that does make a difference, so bear that in mind. There we go. I'll just take that and trim away the extra. Okay, there we go. And now you should be ready to go. So you can see there how thick it is. Okay, then you're going to need a specific stamp. I am using this kind of gravelly stamp that has been dusted over with cornstarch. Any pebble stamp should work. The grittier it is, the better. The only important part is that the veins of the piece need to be sticking up and the kind of rounded pebble parts need to be sticking down. So you can use any stamp you want. This one works really well, but if you don't have it, then you can use any texture that you want. Just make sure that the round parts are in, the veins are up. Now I've dusted that with cornstarch. I'm just going to give it a little extra because I really don't want it to stick. Also, if you're interested in this texture stamp, I do have it linked in the description below this video. Then I'm going to brush cornstarch over the top of this, and I'm also going to do it on the bottom so that it doesn't stick to my fingers, or the roller, whichever one you prefer to use. There we go. Then place it blue side down into the stamp. Now I'm just going to shape it a little. There we go. There we go. Blue side down. And I will generally start from the bottom and then work my way up, pressing that into the texture stamp. And you can use your roller to do this. I feel more comfortable using my fingers more often than not, so that's why I'm doing that. There we go. Okay, now I'm just going to rebrush that just a little bit. I'm going to bring over a baby wipe just to make sure that it doesn't stick to my roller, because it will lift out of the texture and make a mess. And then I'm just going to give it a final couple of rolls just to really make sure that it has gotten that texture nice and crisp. Here we go. Then just going to give this a quick wipe to get rid of the cornstarch, and then you should be able to lift that out of the stamp. Just be gentle if you're using a polymer clay stamp, because it can be a little different from a rubber stamp. Just go around to lift it out, like so. I'm just going to pop that down, I'm just going to tap it with the baby wipe, both to pick up the extra cornstarch and to press it to the ceramic tile that I am using as a base so that it sticks. And that should be stuck. Yep. And then I'm just going to trim away these little edges where the texture wasn't around. Grab a thin, sharp blade for this. And we're going to shave off that texture. And that should give us the kind of malachite, just a little bit coming through effect. There we go. And if you want to get more bands with the malachite, you can stack it another time, but the picture that I am using as a reference doesn't have heavy banding in the malachite, so I didn't stack it too many times. There we go. And you can keep these pieces because you can pop those onto a different background as well. Oops. But there we go, that turned out really nicely, and once we flatten it out you'll be able to see it a little better. Okay, and there we go. Stop when you're happy with the effect. I'm going to take that and I'm going to just make sure that I don't have anything sitting on the surface. There we go. Put that onto a piece of paper. Just going to grab another piece as well, and then I'm just going to burnish that flat, like so. Okay, and there we go. That's how it should look once flat. I'm just going to pick that up. Actually, let me use a blade to do that so that I don't tear it. There we go. And that's going to be our main piece to work with. Now it's not as thick as I would like it to for the cutter that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to put this to the side. And I'm going to bring over the kind of leftover pieces that we have. That's all the cut-offs and the bits from that mica shift. And also I have this piece which I accidentally rolled out too thin, which was the Azurite. That's fine. I'm just going to grab a few more pieces from over here. And what we'll do is any and all leftovers will get smooshed together. And we're going to make a backing. Okay, just going to roll that together and I'm going to chop it up a little bit. There we go. You can see how that looks. Just kind of squish that back together. And I'm going to roll that out. Okay. Give it a twist to kind of mix that up together. Okay. I'm just going to chop it into 4 pieces, and I'm just gonna pop it together, and then we can use that as a cane. So press that into a neat rectangular shape, and then we can cut out pieces and make a veneer from it. And that will do. Then just cut out some slices. Try to keep them all about the same thickness. Okay. And then I'll just piece them together into a veneer that will look just nice on the back. It's not going to look like the stone that we're trying to imitate at all, but it has the same colours. It's a nice way to use the leftovers and will just look nice on the back. There we go. going to take that and I'm going to also burnish that flat just like we did for the other one. And there we go. I also rolled it on the thickest setting just to stretch it out and make sure it's all was even. This is the side I'm going to use. The side got a little blurred in the machine. So I'll place that up and then put this over the top. Just make sure that they're stuck together. So I'll just do that. And this is going to make it quite thick and it will allow us to get a nice dome on our cutter when we use it. And I'm not going to worry about trimming away the extra, just checking that there's no air bubbles. And I'm just going to bring over some plastic wrap, lay that over the top, and then the trick is to get it on without wrinkles, which can be a bit of a hit or miss. There we go, that should just about do. Got this little bit on the edge here. There we go. And that should do. Okay. And this is so we get a nice dome on our piece. Here's the cutter that I'm going to use. It's one of the imprint cutters that I have on my Etsy store. And that should give us a nice looking piece. I'm going to see if I can get two out of here. Okay, and I'm just going to put it right up against the edge there. And then cut. And don't be surprised if it takes a little bit of pressure to do this because the cling wrap is going to provide a lot of resistance, which is why you get the dome. So you can see I'm not even halfway through there, but you're going to get a really beautiful looking dome. And this is going to kind of create the effect of cut stone. Okay. And just lift up and check every once in a while. And so we've cut through. And I'm going to try and get another piece over here. Okay, and there we go. I did manage to get another piece out here. Then lift the cling wrap. Sometimes it won't lift up off the clay, so just make sure you remove it and make sure that it gets removed from the clay. Like there, it didn't remove there. Just make sure that it gets removed because that will melt in the oven. There we go. Then you could get out some more pieces over here as well if you wanted to. But lift that up. And I got the cutter to cut quite cleanly, so that's good. Sometimes you will need to recut after removing the cling wrap. Okay, and I'm actually going to leave them exactly like that. They're quite tidy around the edges. I don't need to worry about that. And I'm just going to take those and I'm going to bake them for a full hour at Primo's recommended temperature. And I lift them up from the tile first though, so there we go. Smooth over the edges because you'll have some fluff from the cutter. You could always leave that as well and just sand it off later, but it's quicker to do now. Okay, and there you can see what the back looks like. Front's really the bit that we are focusing on. Place on a piece of paper so that you don't get shiny spots, and then as I said, bake for an hour. Right, and once they're out of the oven, I just gave them a glaze with some Varathane gloss varnish, gave them 2 coats and they've been drying overnight. So now all that's left to do is to assemble. Keep in mind that you don't have to varnish it. This is made out of clay completely. There's no added bits like alcohol ink or mica powder or even paint. So if you wanted to sand and buff them, you could do that, or you could just leave them exactly the way they are. I'm going to bring over a little silver eye pin here. Just going to take that, and I have already made a hole so that it's not quite so finicky. And I'm just going to screw that into the top of my piece. And I have already done the other one. The other one's all finished and assembled. So that's why that's not here right now. I'll just twist that into place. There we go. Then I've got a little add-on piece here and our ear wire. Now this is going to be a little finicky to show on camera, but I'll try my best just because it's so small. But I'm going to take that eye pin, I'm going to open it up, I'm going to place one of the loops through. Just bear with me for a bit because this is a bit finicky. But there, I'll just put it through, and then I'm going to close this up. Okay. Sorry, this is very well away from my eyes, so I can't actually see what I'm doing very well. But I'm going to close that loop. So let me do that. Okay. And I did the same for the little ear wire at the top. So I just saved some time and did that as well. And here is the other piece as well. And I'm quite happy with how they look. If you go back to the photo that I showed at the beginning of this tutorial showing off the real thing, I think I got quite close. The only thing that I could think to change it would be to actually make a custom stamp, so that we get a slightly more feathery look on the malachite, and maybe to thin down the malachite so you get more rings, but the clay will probably blend together. So using this technique, I think we've got it as close as we can. The next step, if you wanted to create a more realistic effect, would probably be something like a cane, but that would take a lot of time and effort for one thing, so I think this is the best method if you just want to give it a try. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how they turned out. They look really nice, really striking, and I'm quite happy. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you like the video, please consider leaving a like, as that is greatly appreciated, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.